Hi, everybody. I put very short notice out that this is happening, so I'd be surprised if there's like 5 people here at some point. But it's okay because it's going to go on the YouTube later. I am joined with Combo Chuck and Erica's Pinball Journey, which that name makes me think of my pinball journey all the time in like a weird nostalgic way and how it's completely changed. But otherwise, yeah, welcome guys. Hi. They're very
Hello,
shy.
hello.
They're shy as soon as you hit live. They were chattering like crazy just a minute ago.
That's sorry, got distracted.
But yeah,
Hello,
now it's like
everybody.
now we're shy. Okay, so anyways, this is gonna be off the cuff. One of my favorite people on television ever, besides like the creepy part of him, was Craig Ferguson. How you just take like the thing and just rip it up. If you ever deal with like talk shows, you know they always do like the pre like interview crap. I like off the cuff because otherwise you end up with these like weird conversations where it's like, so did you hear about Darren's family? Yeah, it's really bad. It's a great thing that his family had insurance by Colonial Penn or some crap. You know, it just sounds very. So I'm just like doing the off the cuff thing. So, anyways, I've got a few things I want to talk to you guys about. Obviously, D&D is going to be a big topic today. So, thoughts right off the bat for D&D?
Thoughts? I'll go ahead and start. I like it. First, let me give a little small, concise background with me and D&D stuff. I don't play a tabletop game. I did once in high school. Didn't really resonate with me too well, but I do love fantasy. I do love RPG. I love dragons. I love knights. I love swords. I love magic. I love castles, right? I love all that stuff, so that's cool. I'm a big video gamer, so this does hit theme really well for me for that reason. So I was pretty excited. I was pretty excited when it dropped. It looks great. I know we're going to go into more detail, but first impressions are actually pretty good. I guess I'll start off just by noting that my only concern is that my imagination with this game is going to not meet, actual production of it, right? At 1.0, I don't think they're going to have everything that I really want this game to have, but that's cool. I still think that it has potential to be really good.
Do you have an idea what you think that would be that you want to see in it?
Well, so here's what I want to see, and this is from a homeowner's perspective, probably, but with their IC connection, I would like to see potential campaigns come in using the same role that they're using, right? New campaigns, new story modes, new fresh content coming into the home afterwards, which may happen, but new items, maybe new characters, right? Just kind of fresh content coming in. Hopefully that doesn't start the whole DLC paid content stuff, because we already pay a lot for these things. But I think that avenue opens up into making homeowners happy and comfortable with their purchase that they made with this game, knowing that they're going to get years of entertainment out of it. So that's probably the highest.
So you're asking for like basically whole new campaigns or written scenarios?
Well, I mean, I'm not really asking for anything, but those are kind of just my ideas, right?
Yeah.
If they're small, if it just comes in as items or just comes in as like characters or something like that, anything really is cool. But that would be cool if they had content packs, that you can download over time and play new campaigns, play new adventures, and all that.
Yeah, the only thing I think I'm wondering if Spike 2 would be a limitation there, because I'm still surprised. I like when they announced D&D, I kind of had like all these pie in the sky ideas, like the complexity of it and everything and what they could do with it. I was a little surprised to see it's a Spike 2 system still. So I'm like wondering like how much of a limiting factor that is, but based on what Dwight said, I'm still impressed with what we got. Like, I don't know. But I guess from my perspective, I did pick up a little bit on what they said. I watched some of the Loser Kid podcast and some of that and heard what Dwight was talking about. So it sounds like the towns and stuff, that's not going to change. You still like shoot a shot, pick your town, pick your mission, stuff like that. But what's changing every Sunday is it's basically like Fismo's shop in the game. The items and where you pick them up depend on which town. That will randomize, and the dungeons will randomize. But essentially, the rest of the game is staying the same.
Yeah, they said character stats. I wrote these down. Character stats, trinkets, and where you're going to find them in dungeons, shops, and mode rewards.
Yeah.
Contents of treasure chests and dungeons, and like you said, the dungeon layout in Fismo stores.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I noticed like the characters are like, you know, you get like 5 seconds extra shield or something. It feels very Ninja Turtles in that way. There's no like correlation I see yet as to like what the stats actually do for you in the game yet. If that like affects die rolls or whatever that is. I don't know.
You know,
Hi,
I'm very
Erica.
interested.
See ya hanging out there. You got opinions?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I just started my first D&D campaign about like 3, 4 months ago. So,
Well,
I'm kind of relatively new to the Dungeons and Dragons world. Like, I'm a level 3 Elven Rogue right now. And it's been really fun. And I'm excited to see this game and like how you can build up and dice rolls and like the moment Venom came out with like leveling up, I was like, this is going to change pinball. Like this is gonna make the video game aspect that they tried to get back with like what is it, Pinball 2000, right? With
mm-hmm,
the screen that they integrated. There's just the two types of like Revenge from Mars and Star Wars Episode 1.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard to say, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Dungeons and Dragons,
And
and the way that the story changes. Yeah,
I'm curious on your opinion too, because this is how I kind of feel. Like if you go back and you look at like Dwight's like pedigree of like Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Venom, all this, you can kind of see like everything he's kind of come up with in those games is kind of like being the part where they all like culminate into like one final pin. Or not final pin, he's not like dying or anything like that, but you know what I mean? It's like the latest pin he's like actually like put all that together. Yeah. And I'm really happy at like Brian Eddy's with his layout because it doesn't seem, I mean, this is obviously going to be a longer playing game. So it doesn't seem like it's overly complicated, but there's a lot there. There's a lot of shots there and a lot of interesting stuff going on. Like that whole thing where the saucer for Vismos kicks out and then like feeds into the magnet for the upper flipper. I think that first of all, that geometry is cool, but that's really good for even just like people starting out to give them like a pretty fair chance to get like an easy shot off the upper flipper. Because upper flipper skills are hard, you know? Especially when you got balls like zooming around like crazy past them. Like people just aren't used to that.
Oh yeah,
I said a
for
lot.
sure. Yeah, I think that's going to help them. And I liked how they, took that into account. Watching Loser Kid Pinball podcast, which was great podcast. How they mentioned, trying to make things accessible as well. So that was an interesting take, right? Like D&D fans, when just like they mentioned, when I saw the dragon, I thought, oh wow, the end boss, and you can't do that in pinball, right? If you're going to put something out there, you have to make the main attraction accessible and interactable throughout your game, right? And so it's neat how they're finding these ways to kind of slightly modify the world of D&D into a more 30 or not 30 minute, like 5 to 20 minute experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall though, like I was talking to you yesterday and I think we were all in the Stern or maybe we were in another stream together all talking about it. But I remember you saying this wasn't necessarily your pick. Your pick would have been maybe Pokemon or was it? No, it wasn't you. It was somebody else. I remember.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people who are disappointed it's not Pokemon. I have the complete opposite effect right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, for Canellos Dose.
Yeah.
Be happy for all pinball.
Yeah. But for me, I'll tell you right now, like my actual first time to ever playing D&D was on deployment. So it's just a bunch of us nerds on deployment, and that was like my first experience with it. And some of us still play online together. We still have a good time with it every once in a while. But I love that whole dragons or just like even just like medieval themes and stuff like that, Like I would love to have like a medieval madness from like a certain aspect of it. But I just don't think for a home environment that just doesn't have enough in there to keep me satisfied, especially like here. Like I have room for like 2 pins. So I usually have like room for 2 pins and I have to hold on to them. So I've been very, very picky for a long, long time. Yeah. So like this is like the first one I've seen. I'm like, it's like right up my alley and it changes every Sunday. And I think this is, I have to play it, but I think this is probably one for me right here.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I mean, I feel the same about Medieval Madness. I think what's kind of satisfied me is, Pinball FX and being able to play it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it'd be cool to have the physical, but, I've got a VP cabinet as well. And so that helps. And it's not the same as physical, I know. But I know it's a video game, but it still scratches that itch for me when it comes to playing that game. I feel like I've played it in real life as well. And sure, it is fun. They both have different experiences, of course. One's virtual, one's not. but that's kind of been my outlet for tables I can't own because you have a limited amount of space, of course, limited amount of income and all that other stuff, and your surrounding areas. So
yeah, I did think about getting a P3, but I haven't jumped in yet. And I'm like kind of curious, like what's going to happen when they do an upgrade to that? Is it just something you can slot in, or? But
Yeah, I mean, I have a P3 because of Manu. Thanks. Shout out to Mystery Pinball Theater 3000. He convinced me to get one. I had a lot of other people convince me not to get one. Like a bunch of people were like, "Don't get one. It's so complicated. They break all the time. They all this stuff." And then Manu's helped me fix mine up, and I absolutely love it. And it's great for. I very fortunately have space. I'm here like this is at my parents' house.
yeah,
Where they keep all my games. I can fit maybe like 2 games at my new place,
mm-hmm.
but as I'm recovering, I get to be here in my arcade room, where this room is like tapped out for games.
Yeah,
I have
obviously,
to
I
do
can
my
see
Lord of
that.
the Rings, but there's another room in that direction where I keep joking, where I tell my dad, like, you don't need a pool table. Like,
No,
you don't use your
no,
pool table.
pool tables are
Like,
dumb. Yeah.
pool tables are huge, and that's like what 10 pinball machines, but also like money is a thing. But
Yeah.
my P3 was a pretty good deal. I was really happy with it. And yeah, it's definitely a great space saver. I think about bringing that one to my new place, but it's just so heavy. It's like 400 pounds.
It seems like you've been in pinball for a few years, though, based on what. But from what I understand, some of that's your dad's back there too.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Sing Along is mine, and then Rainbow and
I love
Honest
the.
Demons are my dad. And then there's also a triple action right there, and a
Yeah.
triple action underneath because he got 2, because one was a project one for parts, and the other one was basically complete, but you need to take parts from the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got my Deadpool, I got Weird Al, and then I have a Fathom in the corner, and then my Lord of the Rings didn't get back in here yet because I just got it back yesterday from a friend that we traded the
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah.
So, but I got into pinball 2022.
2022.
So
Okay, so during
yeah,
COVID, pretty much. Yeah.
February 2022 is when I bought Lord of the Rings, and I thought that was all I wanted.
Yeah. So I kind of been in and out and kind of been like a silent observer for a long time. I didn't really get into the community until like during, a little bit before COVID or whatnot. And like my involvement was mostly like online through Twitch, and stuff like that. It's funny. Like I was talking about like how your channel name kind of makes me think about like how my tastes and stuff have evolved in this over time. So at one point during COVID, I had like 6 pinball machines up in this apartment. I was practically sleeping under the machines. There's like no space up here. At one point I did have a house and that was like a little bit easier. But for me, like now, like my tastes have changed. Like I would rather, for most cases, like X-Men comes out or something, I'd rather go to a bar and hang out with the community people there and play it. Like that experience is like important to me. Just like the experience of like getting online and talking about pinball with friends, stuff like that. But when it's at the house now, like I thought about V-Pens, but I still want that kinetic satisfaction of the real thing. I thought about a P3, but everybody keeps scaring me off with like the complications and stuff like that. And then now I'm like to the point I'm like, no, just Sterns. I just want Sterns. I know they work. And so I'm just sitting here waiting for like a good Stern and just like to double. And like right now I'm to the point where I'm thinking it's like probably going to be eventually D&D and Jaws, or not Jaws, Bond. Because those are like the two I like really gravitate towards. But that's kind of like interesting, like how the journey's like taking me from like it's more about like the experience of it instead of like trying to like have everything, because to me it's very important to like the interactions with people is like the thing that I really look forward to the most out of everything. And if it's going to be in the house, I need to have something that has like some real depth to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of, I have 2 sides of me. Sometimes, I feel social and I like, going to leagues and stuff like I do and playing out there. And sometimes I just want to be left alone. But and when you're playing it on location, the play field could suck or the sound is not on and you hear, the coin op machines behind you way louder than your machine or something. And your experience is just kind of blah. And I think that's why I've bought like Godzilla. Like I can kind of find a Godzilla anywhere I want to, but, most of them that I played are not as good as it is new out of box. And so I'm glad I actually got that. But I've tried to focus on machines that aren't in the wild and easy to find, at least where I am.
Yeah.
And so I've liked that. The only problem is they're expensive. And because I own a TNA, I've got this P3, I've got this Labyrinth, and I'm about to have an Avatar. But one thing I have learned, and you keep hearing it, and no, Stern doesn't pay me, but I do I have liked the Sterns better overall here. It's great that I can play my Labyrinth. I love the game. It's pretty hard, but so far I feel like I've gotten the most enjoyment just out of my Sterns. They work great. They all feel the same, and I think that has a big check mark to it, right? Like I can get a Jaws or a game I've never played, bring it in, play it, and right off the bat be familiar with it. It just feels great. Like the lower third is the same. I know what to expect, and so that's a benefit to those.
There's not a pinball machine I don't have a good time with at all. I can't think of any. Like there's stuff I don't prefer, but there's not anything I. Huh?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Oh, there's one of those for sale right now.
Krueger. Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, I think that's what.
Yeah.
On Elm Street. The one with Freddy Krueger. I would pay someone $10 to not let me play that game.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we're going that route, then Funhouse for me. I don't like Funhouse.
You don't love Rudy?
I had somebody with the new one that was at the pinball at the Pacific Northwest show we were at, and they walked up to me and they're like, "We have a Funhouse open. Would you like to try it?" I'm like, "There's a reason for that," and I just walked away.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, I'm just a firm believer that game should have been a wide body and not 2 shooter lanes stuffed in it. It's frustrating to me.
I like it.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people like it and they think I'm nuts, but whatever.
I mean, it's a different type of style in the way games play, right? Like, there are some games that I really enjoy. I have a Foursquare, and then someone told me that they would rather have that be fire, like kindling, rather than like a pinball.
Wow.
So it's like, whoa. My Foursquare is currently like sitting underneath those machines, and I need to fix it. But
yeah. And your collection to me is like more like, it seems like somebody that's been in pinball a long time. Because you have like a mix of like old EMs and new stuff too. And I kind of feel like this journey happens like people get like the stuff from their childhood, then that doesn't last because it's not deep enough. Then they get into like sort of like the more modern stuff. And then they kind of like I think everybody just went crazy during COVID and just got like too many machines, And then like you get like that old grizzled veteran that's like, these are the machines I like, and it's like across the entire space of like machines that you see like across all ages and stuff, and interesting. But
yeah, I was kind of going for like a game from each decade at first.
Yeah.
Once I started getting some older games, I was like, "Ooh, it'd be really fun to like have a game from each decade." And then like when I had friends come over, they could see like the evolution of pinball, like my own little mini pinball museum, per se. And now I'm kind of like, honestly, I was trying to trim down my collection. My dad's the one that's been getting a few more, so it's kind of funny that he's kind of caught the bug too.
So you got him addicted?
I got my dad into it, yeah. So my dad was like seeing me collecting pinball. I told my dad I wanted to buy Lord of the Rings, and he's like, "You want to buy a pinball machine?" I was like, "Yeah, Dad, this is what I want to do." And then he's like, "Okay, you're crazy. I played that as a kid." I was like, "Yeah, but like this is what I want to do. I work from home now. What am I supposed to do?" So I got like a new job that set me up there. But, cool.
Yeah.
I see you in chat, Living Arcade. What's up, dude? I love your stuff.
Hey, Living Arcade. What's up, man? Yeah. The horn,
Hey.
or as I call him, the beard.
Your quality, dude, is like.
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah.
So good.
Way better than this shit show.
What do you mean, being in Discord chatting?
Hey, you know what? I keep it simple because I've like done this long enough that I found out like when you overcomplicate things, it never works out. So I just, it's tough. I'd rather be here in the conversation than worrying about if something's working or not and being out of it. So
totally, you guys saw my stream yesterday, so that.
Like I said, you'll get it figured out. So it's a learning process for sure. But and he's a great guy to talk to if you want to really punch up your stream. So two main points of failure. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I've even gotten to the point where I'm like, the last couple of videos I've shot, I even like shot them on the DJI. I've shot them on my iPhone. Just like regressing backwards. I'm like, this is good enough. So, and like
I mean,
Chuck's over here like blasphemy. Look at this quality. Look at this. Look what's going on back here.
I went way over the top. I was like, I'm going to stream, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then reality hit. And I was like, I don't have time to do everything. I just got to pick and choose. But yeah, I ended up buying a bunch of equipment and learning from people. And yeah.
Yeah.
So now I use it at work, and I'm the only like professional person that is a professional looking square at work. You know, everybody else has just got their own setup. We could barely see them with the natural light coming in looking terrible. And I've got like all these lights and like great view and stuff.
Even Erica's fits because it looks like you got like arcade carpet in there and stuff like that, and it's like
I'm like wild carpet. I brought up my audio just a little bit too, if that helps.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I bought this mic. I gotta work on some settings. Maybe it's
give me
I
a
got like
second.
this mixer, fine mixer type of thing. So I can change my voice. Because this is like the best voice for me to use when I stream pinball, right?
There's a particular voice.
Yeah, it has like a voice changer.
Oh, I was expecting to hear like Ned Flanders or something. Heidi ho.
It does have like a few other.
All right. How's that living arcade?
My D&D campaign actually, like when I do slow mo things, I'm like, don't do it.
You guys can hear fine. Well, it's in Discord, so I brought her up 20%. Let me know if you want her up more. But yeah, but I got to the point where when I had like 6 machines up here, obviously it was COVID for a little while, so nobody was going out. That was part of the reason there were 6 machines up here. But then it got to the point where I wasn't going out to I wasn't even going to conventions because I was just like, I felt like I had everything I needed up here. And so that's one of the reasons I like really pulled back on the collection and pulled down, let alone just, there's no space. Like now I have like a couch. It's nice. I don't have to sit on a pinball machine to watch TV. It's great. Yeah.
Over and they could fit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did try that. I did slide some machines underneath each other too. No response from him. Okay. So anyways, yeah, D&D, it's probably going to be a buy, honestly. So that leads me to ask you guys, because it's been I have not done a video in a long time. I already know what Erica's response to this is. I know what my response is. But Evil Dead. Having a hard time thinking of a name there. I'm not a horror movie dude. Like I'll watch them. They don't like, but I just find them cheesy 9 times out of 10. That one's funny. It's got funny moments in it. But I was never like that crazy of a fan. And the funny thing is my opinion of Spooky has changed in the last year. I think Spooky's number 2 as far as like pins I want to play, compared to even like JJP to a certain extent. But yeah, it's like my favorite ones are like Scooby-Doo and Looney Tunes. It's like anything that's like horror themed, I'm just not that super into. But I was like curious, what'd you guys think of Evil Dead? Is that like anything that would appeal to you whatsoever? I mean, it's got cool mechs and stuff.
Why don't you take it, Erica? Erica, you want to first shot at it?
Big horror fan, so I'll play it. But to own any of those kind of spooky games, like I'd love to own a Rick and Morty, I'd own TNA, I'd own Looney Tunes, Scooby Doo, all of those. Did I say Ultraman already? I'm not sure, but Ultraman. I actually even would own maybe a Halloween, but like Evil Dead, it's not that I have never seen the movies, but it's probably for a good reason. I'm not into horror.
Yeah.
But I don't see myself buying an Evil Dead, but I know that the Evil Dead fans are getting what they want, and so I'm happy for them. Kind of like this D&D fans, like some people I've been seeing them like pinball enthusiasts on Facebook. They're like, dice rolling has nothing to do with me. I don't like it. So they're just like opting out already. So that's kind of how I feel like when a horror game drops, where I'm kind of like, this is cool, but yeah, it's fun. It released on my birthday, and I didn't end up making a video then. I did stream about it, but then my audio, as I continued to have problems with my audio cut out. But Yeah. But it was I wouldn't get it, but I would play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. I'm not a horror buff at all, and so unfortunately, none of their themes just resonate with me, except for TNA. But I call that a Denisi game more than I do a spooky game.
Yeah.
But I do own that, and I love it. Shoots really well. It's a fun game. But back to your original question and point. Evil Dead looks cool. It looks. I'm happy that Franchi's over there. He's already knocking it out of park for him. Right, that art is amazing. And it, right when you see it, you think, wow. I mean, that's it. It immediately catches your eye. It's beautiful looking. I would love to play it, if not for that reason alone. But I've never watched the movies or anything. Looks kind of cool. The topper is pretty amazing too. Although I don't think I'd want that in my house. It'd scare my daughter to death.
Scared me to death.
But it's a really cool topper. I think it's a great game, and if I were an Evil Dead fan, I think I would. It would be in the back of my mind of whether or not I wanted to get it.
Yeah. I can't imagine ever being in a situation where I want something horror themed like that, but I do want to play it, and I'm waiting to see who's gonna pick it up around here for sure. But they're so interesting to me. Like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Spooky makes the majority of the stuff that goes into the pinball machine like actually on location. So I think that's why they're able to like have such a low price point, and I think it really has pushed like other manufacturers like Stern to really put more into the machine than what we've seen previously. Because everything up until like a point, like even I think Foo Fighters is the last one I felt like they could have done more, for the pro version or something like that. Like that overdrive post that was in the premium, that could have I feel like that could have been in the pro easily. It's just a coil and a post, but lately in the last few releases, I would say I'm pretty satisfied with the pros. Like, there's a lot going into it. It doesn't feel like a whole lot's missing. You're not missing any shots. You're not missing any major modes or anything like that. And
I totally get X-Men Pro.
Yeah.
And John Wick Pro.
Honestly. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of credit Spooky for that. Because, like, the price point that they've been dropping with what's been coming into the machine has been killer. And it's competition. It's a good side of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they just changed their art packages, right? Like they have like 2 versions sometimes.
Yeah.
Or just the one.
Yeah.
Or the butter cabinets and stuff like that. Like all.
Oh yeah.
Stuff. But yeah, no, I like that about Spooky. I don't post enough about them. I do like Spooky as well. Like as a company, I think that I like their Scream and Stream and like what they got going on, and they seem to be getting like for the horror fans and for the people that like that kind of stuff, like they're getting what the people are wanting.
Mm-hmm.
All I know from like an operator standpoint that it can be hard to upkeep a Spooky game though. But if you're not afraid about fixing things, like get it. Like every game needs to be fixed anyway too. Like it's not like the sterns don't break down. Like maybe sometimes it takes a while, but like I had a flipper. I had my Deadpool like 6 months, and Slingshot went out, and I had no idea how, and it was because one of those little connectors weren't like fully in or something, or like it fell out.
Yeah.
So, and it was a fix that took me a lot longer to figure out with people. They had me change the node board or whatever. I went on, talked to support. They had me do a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't until I had my buddy TJ come by and he fixed the crimp for me, and we got it working again.
I've only ever had one situation where I can't fix a machine that I can think of. And it was because it was clear coat stuff. I learned that. Yeah.
Clear coating. The whole another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of broken machines in this room. I need to work on my fixing stuff.
Still looks cool.
Yeah. Rainbow, Deadpool, and Weird Al are the only working games in this room right now.
The one I'm looking at. I want to play sing along because I like the little ball hopping into saucer thing. I think that's fun.
Yes, that's exactly why I bought it.
Yeah.
So that the ball could jump from saucer to saucer.
Wow.
I love that part about sing along.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's for me right now, and then like the complete opposite. And sorry, Combo Chuck, I know you just spent money on a JJP, but they're just so expensive. They're like completely out of my price range, and I just don't see that much more in them that justifies that. It's certainly the Cadillac of pinball machines. They definitely feel like it when you move them. But
Well, I've
Yeah.
had like Erica said with the P3. The P3 was terribly hard to get out of the truck into my house. It was super, super heavy.
Oh yeah, I've heard
And so, I
that.
mean, if it's anything like that, I've experienced it. But I think the P3 is a little bit heavier. But yeah, I know I'm gonna have that to look forward to. This is gonna be, this is my first JGP. Obviously, wasn't sure if I should get it, but I took a chance on it. So this is the first theme. I thought, well, heck, I'll take a chance on it. So we'll see how it goes. If I don't end up liking it as much, I kind of feel like I'd be able to sell it because I think from what I hear, it sounds like they're coming out with a new movie, and if I could hit around that time period when I want to get rid of it, I think I could find a buyer. Hopefully, yeah, and I say hopefully because it is a lot of money. But I've had buyer's remorse. Don't get me wrong. I thought, man, I could have 2 stars. What am I doing? Yeah, take a leap of faith.
Nobody Italian hurt me, but I almost bought Godfather, and yeah. Just because, like, I like the Italian gangster theme of it. It's not even like because it's the Godfather, but it's just like it's an Italian gangster pinball machine. This is cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'll be really happy with Avatar. There's so much that game offers. Like, I want to play it again, like now. Like, I'm thinking about it now that you talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the art package. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you say you have a daughter, like, I'm sure she'll love to play. And it's like a kid friendly, I would say, as well. And it's one really good for a home environment where you're going to play. Like, there was really long ball times, I felt like at least the way that they had them set up at the factory.
Mm-hmm.
I went and that version that you're getting just looks gorgeous, like with the drip and the topper. That's the way that I would buy it as well if I could afford that.
Yeah. I really didn't want to go with the lower tiered and then regret it and be like, man, I really wish I could see the CE.
Yeah.
I went this far. Why didn't I just spend a little more?
The lighting on the playfield too is just so cool. Like what they did with that just looks amazing.
Yeah.
So, and their factory is really great. I don't know if you did a tour at Expo, if you went this year. I can't remember I don't think I saw you this year at Expo.
No, I didn't go to Expo this year.
For sure. No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they had a bunch of models out there. The game, yeah, from getting to play it and getting to see inside and getting to hear from Mark himself, like about the game, like he was really emotional about it because he's working on it for so long. And yeah, it's a really fun game. I feel like there's so much, and I just love hitting that top spinner. So you haven't played it at all yet? Like you've bought it, but you haven't played it, or did you play it on location somewhere?
Yeah, no, I haven't played it, and that that made me uncomfortable in buying it, but I wasn't going to be able to play it until TPF. There's no way I was going to be able to play it, so I thought, I really want to CE. I didn't know if it was going to sell out or not. I have no experience with whether that would not be a thing, so that was part of my leap of faith.
Cool. Well, I know you'll be really happy with it. You're going to probably have it for a while.
That's good to hear.
I will tell you, like when I played it, that whole Eclipse mode where you're hitting a spinner and it advances across the playfield is like one of the coolest lighting effects I've ever seen in my entire life. It's very convincing.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see that because I've watched a lot of streams, and from what I hear, there's a lot that you miss on camera.
It doesn't pick up well. Yeah, I tried to record it.
Was amazing. Did you see that? And I was like, no. And I rewind it, and I'm like, I didn't see anything. And so I'm looking forward to experiencing that firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, I tried HDR with it. I tried all the Ks. I could not get that thing to show up on camera the same way it looks in real life.
No, it's great.
Yeah. It's got that subtle, like, I love it when it's like halfway and this side's like lit and you can see that gradient of light going from dark to light. And I'm just like, that looks like a real freaking eclipse. That's crazy. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully you like it. It wasn't my jam, and it just goes back to I didn't feel like, well, it didn't tickle my fancy, but because of the theme, but it was also just came down to I just didn't think it was deep enough. Which is weird because like years ago I would tell people, don't get a theme that's like too deep and hard to understand. But now I'm like complete opposite now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Like my Jurassic Park and Godzilla are two of my favorite because I don't mind playing 30, 40-minute balls or play sessions. It's great. Just experiencing an adventure. And that's another thing I try to focus on for pins in my house is things that I'm going to have, an adventure on. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to love it then. If you like 30-minute ball times, you're just going to be
Spread
them out.
Yeah. You could be
that whole story.
You could be like Pink Ninja Man when we were at Next Level playing it. He found like the sweet spot on that lower level, and I did a reel of it, and I'll share it with you guys later. But he just hit it perfectly. He just sat there like this, and the thing just kept on hitting back and forth, just constantly off that one target on that bottom pop bumper. And we were just like, "What's going on?" And then just moved it slightly, and it just fixed it. But it was like, I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty clutch.
I'd say the lower playfield leaves a lot to be desired, but otherwise from that, like the game has so many different combos you can make.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's 6 flippers on the game because like 6 arms are on every single animal in that world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just there's so much within that design, and it's my favorite pinball art package right now. And then it's that Avatar, and then it's Elton John. Which is like really hard for me to say because I love Elton John. I think that game is fantastic. I would love an Elton John right now. Like I would be buying one of those.
Glittery.
Yeah, super glittery. But
Super
I
glitter.
like the art package more now for Avatar.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, JJP for me, like the ones that really stick out is like Pirates so far, and I don't know. I like Godfather. I'm one of those weirdos. I like it, and a lot of people weren't into it, but the whole part where you're like playing like I don't know what the multi ball is, but it goes into the Italian like theme, like dun 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 dun, and you got like the Italian colors, and I'm just like, okay. But also like that guy on the top just shooting at you, and there's like that life bar on the side and stuff. That one does it for me, but so far, I'm still just a Stern guy, I think, at the end of the day, you know. But this year I've been thinking a lot about like events I want to go to and stuff like that, and I'm thinking I want to. So Erica, you've been to both California Extreme or Golden State.
Ooh,
You can only pick one.
if I could only pick one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay. Works. Um, that's really hard. So I think if you're going just for pinball, then like if you're not into video games or like arcade game setups,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just in the pinball, go to Golden State.
Okay.
But if you like arcade games and like rare ones or Japanese ones and all these like other ones, I
Mm-hmm.
would say California Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
California Extreme's super great too, because of like the variety of games. And that way, if you're there, like I bring some of my other friends usually to go, and it's nice because then it's like, oh, it's not just pinball. Like I can play other shit while I'm here too, which is like super fun for them. Um, and then I don't feel as bad because like it's like, okay, there's more to do here than just pinball. But if you want to play just pinball, that's Golden State because they have a camping thing too, so you can stay out in the campsites and there's like a whole other world. I hope to capture more of that this year.
Yeah.
I have like I'm gonna like do a pinball archive series at this point because I haven't released videos that I wish I released. Because they're like still in the editing floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say if you're just in the pinball, Golden State. But if
Okay.
you like arcade cabinet games and you like pinball, like if you like both, go to California Extreme.
So what I'm looking for is like, what do you feel has like the better mix of like old and new, all mixed together? Is that like Golden State?
Mm, Golden State does have a lot more of the they separate them out in two
Mm-hmm.
different rooms. They have like
Yeah.
the Pacific Pinball Museum sponsors and brings a bunch of games from their collection to
Mm-hmm.
put in there. So they do have like an older games room. And if you're really trying to buy a game, that's the place to buy a game too. Like I'd say Golden State has really good deals on buying pins, but not that California Extreme doesn't. It's just I feel like I see sales more at
Okay.
Golden State.
Gotcha.
But people also really like the tournaments that are at both. And I think that so sorry. Squeaking. I think that Golden State has a better pinball tournament. I'm
Hmm.
not sure. I think that theirs is worth more points or something.
Yeah.
I'm not in the pinball tournament
I
scene.
don't really get
If you're in
into
the
it.
pinball, okay, then you won't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
But both are really great. I would recommend going to both.
I can pick one this year. That's like why I was asking. I was like, oh, well, she knows she's been to both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one to go to, I'd probably go to California Extreme.
Okay. Well, I'd probably go to Well, then there's the
So if you wanna
camping
camp,
aspect. Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And I could
Honestly,
just
the
like kind of
community
sit
and
around like the dude, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're like into that camping, chill vibes, then totally Golden State. I know it's probably one of Emoto's favorite
Yeah.
shows to go to as well. Because you do have like that mix of like gamers and pinballers at California Extreme. I would say that the vibe is definitely different, but you got the more like chill vibe at Golden State where it's like, oh, let's just like play pinball, and then people bring pinball machines to play at night, and they like hook them up, and people play a bunch of stuff like Tiltalica. Oh man, that's actually a really hard decision now that I think about it.
Yeah. Right.
Golden State.
I think for me personally, based on what I saw in your videos, I'd probably be more into Golden State because it seems like it's a little bit more of a niche, smaller community thing with pinball.
Yeah, rather
And
than a
that's
bigger show.
kind of what I'm looking for, yeah. Because like I've been to the other stuff like Expo and stuff like that, and Expo's great, but there's like a certain vibe at Expo. It's like very like businessy, corporate, networking kind of thing, and it's less of like a hangout sort of like TPF or something like that, and more. And especially like the people you want to see, they're always like off doing things because they're doing actual work stuff while they're there.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like I got like a whole bunch of hangout time with like actual pinball creators or anything like that. But this year I'm like, I want to do like really like the other one I want to do is like Pin Brew. Because I mean it's beer and pinball. Like, why wouldn't you? You know? It just seems really cool. And it's pretty close to Rob Burke's place. So you can go there and check it out. Like I'd like to see that collection and everything there. But that's kind of my goal this year as far as like, you know, the channel goes and all that stuff. I want to do like smaller events, community fed events and stuff like that. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys there. I know you go to TPF every year, Chuck.
Yeah, I go to TPF. It's right around the corner from me, right? Being in Austin. So I'm going to TPF. I haven't gone to our Houston Expo, but I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start hitting that one up, I think. But yeah, I think I did hit Chicago up 2 years ago. And I think that's just going to be like a once every few.
Oh, did we lose him? Looks like we lost him.
He froze.
He froze. Yeah, let me message him.
I met Combo Chuck at my first expo, and it was really nice because when he met me, he like told me about
Chicago Expo, and I didn't go to Chicago Expo because I went to Cleveland Classic Gaming, which was pretty cool. But it was more video gaming than it was pinball. They had pinball, but pinball wasn't their focus. So.
Oh, he's back.
Cut out for a little bit there, but I heard that I guess instead of expo, you went to gaming.
You ruined it, Erica. I was gonna mess with him and make it sound like it never happened.
Oh. I was wondering what you're talking about. I'm like, I didn't mess with anything. I've been keeping a keen eye on my audio.
Yeah.
I was just gonna sit here and go, yeah, absolutely, and that's when you and Dead Flip kissed. Yes, okay.
It's supposed to be a secret,
man. Yeah, I mean, he's a beautiful man. I'd make out with him. I don't care. Yeah.
I don't know if his wife would be that appreciative of that, but
you never know. My wife
would be jealous. She wouldn't even be mad. She'd be jealous. And
she'd be like, "What?"
She'd want to kiss me as soon as I come home.
So is TPF what you got going on this year? Or you got anything new you're gonna try as far as like events go or anything like that?
Nah, TPF so far. So I wanted to hit up a lot of expos because when I decided I was going to make YouTube videos, I started thinking, I'm going to cover all these shows, but then I started realizing that I don't want to do that. I don't have a lot of time. B, I need to figure out what I'm going to focus on. I decided to focus on content that's going to last more than a few months. I don't have the time, and I don't want to put the energy towards making something that people only care about for 3 months, maybe, and then it's kind of just an old video. Mm-hmm. So I guess I didn't want to. I guess now I just don't want to hit up that many expos because of that. I'm less inclined to do so, and I'm actually, like I said, I'm content with having 2 pretty big ones here with Houston and TPF. So I think it'll be more calm for me as far as traveling is concerned for that going forward. Okay. Change my mind.
And I've liked the change in the channel. I like the little tutorials and stuff you've been doing. I think that's been pretty cool.
Thanks. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that. And I mean, that's exactly what I wanted when I was learning different pins. I wanted something that was 3 to 5 minutes. Just tell me what the game's about, what the approachable modes are, just so I could play it. Because I remember looking for things and I'd find 40 to 60 minute videos, like Metallica tutorial, and it's like an hour, and I'm like, I don't want to sit here and like I won't even remember half of it when I'm done with the video, and I just want to play Metallica. What do I do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I found that pretty useful, and I think you should definitely keep going down that route because I think you do it very, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to focus on that and hopefully start hitting them out more frequently here this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make a goal of once per month. I don't know if I'll hit that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself too, man. I learned that the hard way. I'm just like, like Erica's been, practically on hiatus because of the foot thing and all that stuff. So you got to take care of yourself first and stuff like that, first and foremost. Yep. And, as long as you're still enjoying doing it, you're doing good at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah. So, Erica.
Yeah, on your terms, too. Like,
yeah.
There is, like, a feeling, though, that I have. Like, I get it. Like, I have this feeling of, like, people are really excited about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of people reaching out and, like, wanting to collaborate and offer things to me, and it's really hard to make all those decisions because I do have a full-time gig.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a lot of stuff happen in my personal life, so that like really stopped me from making content for a bit. I moved, I got foot surgery, dealing with relationship stuff, so like all that good jazz.
But dude, you're a champ in my books because you were there at that at Manu's like charity thing for like what 5 or 6 hours or something like that. And I'm like, dude, if I had foot surgery, unless somebody's gonna give me like one of those Wall-E things, I can just like hover into the place. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, that was really hard, honestly. Like, I think that I just kept pinball to keep myself distracted from the pain. But yeah, like I got my cast off like the next day, which I was like in a lot more pain the next day. I think either because I was on my feet for like a bit, like having my foot be at like a downwards angle wasn't really great, but anything for Manu, like I'll help that guy out. He's great. He's helped me out an immense amount of times, and he's just such a good pinball person and just a good friend. It was his birthday yesterday, so
happy birthday, man. He's a very sweet man, and I give him a very hard time. Yeah.
I ran into him once. I think it was at TPF, and I've always been a fan. I love his channel, and it was Weird Al. And I walked up, and he's like, "Hey, ever played this?" And I was like, "Actually, no, I hadn't." And he's like, "Here, come on, let me show you. Let me show you the ropes." He was real nice and cool, and just kind of walked me through it. And then we played a game together, and that's the only time I've actually just person to person interacted with him. But yeah, he's real cool, and his content's fantastic. His channel, what he's doing with the shows and the entertainment and all that stuff is just so super cool.
Okay, well, if he sees this later, I don't want to inflate his ego too much, so but anyways, Erica, you going to any events this year? Are you just healing up? What's your deal? Are you
I'm gonna go to like as many that my wallet will let me. I think this year
you okay?
I think this year my freaking like armrest got caught underneath me. I'm going to all the California events. So every year I've been able to go to Golden State, California Extreme, and Pinagogo. So likely I'll go to those 3 events. I actually think I'm going to go to Indisc at the end of this month to do some documentary kind of stuff. I'm kind of working on my own little. I know I have so many videos and a lot of footage and things, but I really want to try doing it this year where I like kind of follow a few players and their pinball journeys and make a little documentary type.
That's a great idea.
Pinball thing. So, because there's a lot of really great top players that play here in California, and I'm hoping to make it to States as well. So I'm just like working on all of that, and I'm gonna go probably Expo again. I think I'm actually going to Australia this year. Somebody wants to sponsor me to come out to a show out there. So like that's wild, and I'm super grateful. So I'll stay tuned about that. I really would love to go to TPF though. I think that's the show this year that I want to put more effort into. I had a flight last year, and then I had like a work project that came up that they were like, do you have to be out of town that weekend? Because like we have talent coming in, and maybe we need someone on Saturday. We'll pay you an extra day. And I was like, oh. So I just missed out on TPF barely. But I haven't booked a flight yet because I think I'm barely just allowed to start flying again on planes by then. I'll be walking in like 2 weeks. Okay. I'm not allowed to like put pressure on my foot just yet. So, Yeah, I guess we'll see. I should buy those tickets soon then if I am gonna go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll see.
My thing is obviously be easy on yourself. Don't overdo it. But like I mean, crap, you've been hopping along on a scooter since at least California Extreme that I can remember. So
Yeah, I had the scooter then because I
yeah.
got like the injection, so I wasn't allowed to like put a lot of pressure on my foot. And then I've been in a boot when I'm in a boot again. So it's just like, at
Yeah.
least for the next 2 months, I'll probably be in this boot. I'm
Okay,
not
so
sure.
I have an honest question here. Since you had the scooter for such a long, is it fun to ride around on a scooter? Do you do any sick jumps or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, just doing 360s.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice. I feel faster than on crutches. Like I have crutches, but the scooter is fun that in that aspect. Being on it for too long though hurts my knee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
I'd
Is
skip
it-
that.
I'm curious. That reminds me of just a shopping cart. And like sometimes in the parking lot when I'm going back to my car, I still act like a 16-year-old and I rev up speed and jump on the shopping cart for a good 20 feet and it feels fantastic. Can you do something like that on it? Like maybe a short distance, 5 feet or something, but does it feel like kind of cool to go like wee for a minute
Oh yeah.
and then realize, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah. No, I do that. I do it down my hallway and when I'm like going up and down the stairs.
Nice.
every time I've
Yeah,
seen a video, like when she was like in the charity thing, I was like, man, I'd have that thing like a razor scooter and be doing like 360 flips on it.
Yeah, gotta be careful so I don't drop my foot and have to restart the process. Because I just got the other bill for. I got like the first half of the bill, and now I guess there's like negotiation happening on this other half of the bill of mine, and I'm gonna find out if you're a Stern New Box Pro or a used, or like what could I got instead of the.
I'm definitely
No,
in the used camp right now.
yeah, in the used, right now, but I need to walk again, like, and I'd like to run. I haven't gone on a run in over a year and a half,
Mhm.
so I missed that part. I became a biker. Like I like to bike now, I guess. I
Mhm.
like to bike. It's like that was all I could do
Mhm.
with my foot injury, but yeah, I'm excited to run again.
Any cool bar brawls?
Yeah, you know me, I just
Yeah,
like
well, you said
punching
biker.
people in
Oh.
all sorts of bars. Because
Yeah.
I just go to arcade bars and beat people up in pinball.
Yeah. Well, I can't do the shopping cart thing anymore because I'm so big now that I'd topple backwards if I tried to stand on it. It'd be a very short trip. So
Need to buy a bunch of liquids.
it's just like
On the way.
wee. And then like my solution to that now is like I'm probably gonna get an e-bike and start biking to work and stuff too, because now that I have like a steady place that I go to every day, definitely gotta take care of myself because I don't want to like end up with some kind of like stupid like injury or something like that, and I can see it coming if I don't. So, but I kind of want a scooter because that scooter looked fun.
Speaking about scooters, this actually has nothing to do with scooters. I was going to talk back about D&D. The shield on the D&D game.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to circle back to pinball.
That's cool.
Because I could talk about my foot for quite a while. But the shield is just like those older games that had like that. I had big guns, right? And
Mhm.
it had like that plastic pop up, and you could take a few hits and then fall down. So the shield is just like a metal version of that instead of a plastic version.
Yeah.
Like they've had things like that in the past to like block the middle, I guess you could say. But it's cool. I like that they've made that.
I want a sound effect when it hits and it goes dunk. Yeah,
I like that too. I think that's cool. I think I like how they integrated it with the abilities, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you can get upgrades on it for other characters too, for it to stay up longer. And I think one of the cool parts about it too is during the gameplay premiere, I forgot who was playing it, but when the ball came down and rested on it and he shot it, it went directly up one of the I think it was one of the middle ramps on the right. Went up there. And so you can let the ball hit it and then hit that shot 100% of the time. So you can kind of use it for that purpose if you wanted to as well, to be able to get a good shot.
I don't know. Did you guys have any I guess if I had any real critique about anything on it, because I haven't played it yet, so I can't speak to the pin itself. It's just like, well, you were streaming the other day when you watched this, so you might not have picked up, but I felt like when they did the live stream of the gameplay, it just was like kind of abruptly ended all of a sudden. And I felt like that could have been done just like pre-recorded.
Yeah, it was it. I wasn't sure if it was. People in chat seemed to think it wasn't live. I didn't care either way. But I mean, I think for the most part, it looked like they had things they wanted to show. They nailed it. They got everything they wanted to in there, and it looks like it was more. I felt like it was more constructed than X-Men was. X-Men kind of felt like, hey, let's have a party, get together, show something. Oh crap, everything's going wrong. We didn't, pay enough attention or get our ducks in a row for the stream. And I think they kind of learned from that, got to the point on everything we wanted to show, and then kind of ended it from there.
I guess that's not my criticism, and I don't want to stomp on Stern's toes too much because it's hard to do this in the first place. But it's my criticism of the whole thing is like I felt like the trailers were very good. I felt like up to the point like where they were like explaining the game, like Dwight did a very awesome job explaining how the game's played and stuff like that, so people walk into an arcade and get it. But to me, it's like when a new pinball machine comes out, it's kind of like a holiday for us pinheads, and I would just like a little bit more like flair and celebration to that. Like get into it, like get like somebody like Stashwick to do like a D&D actual campaign and then lead into a pinball, or do something afterwards, like do a campaign that's like charity event or something like that. Like make it this big event. Like you obviously don't have to have Dwight and Brian Eddy there for any longer than 15 minutes, but have like some people come in, play the machine, maybe mix like the media day up with this, so it's like a live stream or something like that. It just felt like it was X-Men got a little bit more time in the sun as far as like the live stream part goes, and I think if they mix the two up, or every time that they bring a pinball machine out, just make it like a bigger, because like we all love pinball, we all want to see the thing grow, but and all this, but it's like it was like, here's the rules, okay, bye. That's kind of how I felt about it, and I feel like they still need to work on that aspect of it.
They're growing. Like I think that like you were saying from X-Men stream, like they learned a lot from that experience and like what people commented and what they liked and they didn't. And then you have that stream, which I didn't see it live, but I did watch it later on my stream. And it did feel like, okay, here's the rules, goodbye. But like I think maybe for that audience though, for the people that were going to tune in that aren't like pinball people, maybe that was like more
that's a good point.
Them.
But
because like a bunch of D&D, like I've been on YouTube now, like looking up a bunch of different stuff, and there's a bunch of different people that are like, I do pinball content now, look at this, Dungeons and Dragons is in pinball. So it's just like maybe they're thinking about that, or maybe just like the way that Brian and Dwight work as a team, like they're not dead flip, like Jack is a very different person and personality, and not that Brian and Dwight don't have that. Dwight is hilarious. I've seen Dwight and I've experienced being in the same room as him and what he's capable of, but I think like streaming, I don't want it to sound ageist, but it's like a different generational thing, right? Like their mind and how they're perceiving it and how they're going to release their game is different from how Jack's going to release his. Jack's going to dress up. They didn't dress up, right? So
it very much felt like a dead flip stream for sure.
So I think but that's good to know, though. I'm sure like that if they end up watching the stream here or hearing about it or whatnot, then like they'll know like, okay, like maybe we can get a little bit, because I do see that the wanting to have a celebration, the want to have it be a bit longer, because I did recognize that only one person played. So what's it like when you have multiple people playing? Does that change the game for the other players? Like we have no idea. So and we could see a bit of him playing different characters, I guess, but there's still a lot to it to uncover, but within the next following month we'll have it out and it'll be great.
That's true. I just guess from my point of view, I didn't really understand why it was a live stream at all. Like it could have just been a video, at that point. So all right, so I don't know, I don't want to bash him up too bad because I do think the game's awesome and I want to play it. So good. We've been about an hour, and I'm pretty sure Combo Chuck's been standing the entire time. And
nah, I've got a leaning stool.
Okay,
so I'm good.
I'm just recognizing that you're not Los and can't stand for 17 hours straight.
I've got my knees so I can meet the airline of my camera. I'm able to hold myself up at 60 minutes.
All right. Guys, I appreciate you so much for coming out and having a little chat with me. This is fun. I like to do this every once in a while and mix it up and bring new people in and just have a little live stream and have a little bit of fun. Erica's Pinball Journey. I'm gonna plug you anyways, but she's bigger than we are, so what's the point, you know?
You're all
It's
over
like,
the place. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, you kind of died down in content and stuff, but it has blown my mind everywhere I've seen you. So kudos to being able to reach out and expose, your channel and your brand. You're doing a great job at it, I think.
Yeah.
So much. I think the same for you guys. It's like a lot of fun watching you guys' streams. And
No.
Combo Chuck. Like I remember when I saw your P3 video, I was like, "This guy's it, man! It's so cool." And you came and saw me at Expo. You were the first person to take a picture with me, so that was like,
Oh yeah,
really
yeah.
cool for
I remember that
me.
time. Yeah.
This year at Expo was wild. I had like 10 people ask to take photos with me, which felt like really weird, but cool at the same time.
You're big. I'm small.
Thanks.
Down here.
No.
I had one person that started recognizing me. He's like, "I've seen you on the internet before." Like, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Combo Chuck. Yours is it Coinline or Combo Chuck when you go to search for it?
It's Combo Chuck. Yeah, you'll find
Okay.
Combo Chuck most of the time. Coinline's the brand that I run off of because if I ever
Okay.
decide to get more people on or whatever, they could do it under Coinline, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to have that
Okay.
in place.
Yeah, so he does really good, awesome tutorial videos and stuff. His production value is way better than the duct tape that's been holding this stream together. So, I mean, just look at the background. Look at what's going on. There's like sound panels everywhere. It's all clean looking.
Thank you.
You're better than I am too. Anyways, yeah. And then if you're watching this, obviously you know where to go because this is just. I need more stuff in the background. Anyways.
I'll send you a poster. Do you want a calendar? You can maybe win.
So the funny thing is I'm actually going to probably put two banners I have up back here.
There you go. Oh, nice. That's cool.
Well, that's great. Now I'm canceled.
Sexy Men of Pinball 2025. I have 2 of these. I'll be doing a giveaway of soon. So maybe
Awesome.
you can win. Maybe you can win one of them.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have so many questions, but
I buy it for fun. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Can I hang it on? Can I hang it on a wall? Is there like flippers exposed or like?
Oh yeah, you can't show December. That's all I'm saying. When we're not live, I'm happy to show you each of the pictures. I wouldn't do that to these guys. I wouldn't go live and expose all these men on the internet like that. It's just not nice.
Okay. Anyways, bye.
All right, bye.